Since childhood, I've been fascinated by parables. My grandmother probably played a big role in this fascination. My grandmother, when she saw the opportunity, she would recite the biblical parable of the wise builder or likeness of it to me. She would then ask me, "Which builder are you going to be, Nicole?" And I would respond, and I would also need to explain why I responded the way I did. Tough stuff for a kid. But I loved any time I would spend with my grandmother. She taught me a lot. I saw her display of love and compassion to everyone she met. People always felt special. I felt special. Let's get back on topic. So, what is this parable? The parable tells of two builders, one who built his house on rock and another who built his house on sand. When storms, rain, and wind came, the house built on sand washed away, while the house built on rock was able to withstand the challenges. The parable highlights the importance of building on a solid foundation in order to be able to withstand the unexpected storms of life. I believe that this parable can serve as a metaphor for understanding the importance of home insurance and building a secure financial future for homeowners. I've often said that owning real estate is probably one of the most significant investments for most of us. We work hard to make the investment, and residential property insurance is a way we can protect our investment and provide the peace of mind that often comes with being insured and actually understanding our insurance. In this episode of Real Estate with Nicole, I will cover understanding the foundation. Basically, what is insurance? Weathering the storm. I'll tell you a few stories. Building the house. We'll talk about practical steps to choosing the right property or home insurance. And then I'll have a few thoughts on beyond insurance, thinking beyond insurance and building wisely. So let's start staking out our land and our surveying tools and get into it. So understanding the foundation. What is insurance or home insurance? Basically, house insurance, also known as homeowners insurance, is a form of property insurance designated to protect your home against damage to the actual property itself, which could be from unexpected events such as natural disasters, theft, and accidents that we could potentially incur financial cost because of these particular situations. Homeowners insurance also helps to protect some of our possessions in the home. It provides liability coverage against these accidents or these situations. We kind of understand, what that foundation is, what insurance is, but what types of options are available to the homeowner. House insurance policies come in various forms, and they offer different levels of coverage. The most common types include comprehensive insurance, which covers the most extensive coverage. And that could be the contents, all risks, But not everything is necessarily covered under comprehensive insurance. There are two basic types of risk that are typically left out of this type of coverage. One of them is optional protection. So, optional protection could be those items that may be extra and we would need to buy additional coverage. The other type is uninsurable perils and hazards. So, those are ones in which insurance is not available in that particular area or for that particular item. Another common insurance is basic or named perils. And this covers only specific risks that are listed in the particular policy that we buy. It's typically less expensive than buying comprehensive coverage. However, only specific items in that particular policy would be covered. Another type of insurance is broad coverage. This coverage is a good choice for those of us who want complete coverage on our homes and the named perils on our belongings. So that's another opportunity for us. There's also what's called no frills. And this is for properties that do not satisfy the normal criteria for insurance. So it provides a no frills plan with limited benefits. However, as a homeowner, you could save money in the long run by resolving some of the issues that prevent your home from meeting the insurer's requirements. So those are the key basic insurance policies that are typically available in the GTA. What I want to stress is that it's really important for you to choose the right type of insurance based on your personal needs, the value of your home, and the contents, the valuables that you own within the home. Okay, so we understand the basics of insurance, the types of insurance that are typically available in the Greater Toronto Area. Now, let's talk about some of the challenges homeowners face with insurance in the Greater Toronto Area. Some of these could include higher property values and replacement costs as home values increase over time. So we've seen a year over year, on average, 6.6 to 7% increase in equity growth year over year. And approximately every 10 years, the equity doubles or the home value doubles in the Greater Toronto Area. So therefore, higher property values and replacement costs will have an impact on your insurance premium. Also, depending on the area where you live, there could be risk of flooding, potential sewer backup that could cause some damage. Also, issues that GTA homeowners may face is that urban density can also increase the risk in theft and vandalism. So as we have more and more individuals living in our communities and population growth, that is another factor that homeowners are facing at this point in time. So it's really important for homeowners to really understand the location, what's happening around us, and the things that potentially could impact homeowner insurance premiums. Another key factor for homeowners to consider when laying that foundation or surveying the home ownership insurance landscape is understanding your policy details. It's really critical for us homeowners to thoroughly understand what our policy covers and what it excludes. For instance, some standard insurance policies often do not cover natural disasters such as earthquakes or floods without having added coverage. In the Greater Toronto Area, where specific challenges like flooding can be more prevalent, understanding the limitations and exclusions of your policy is essential. It's really critical for you to understand what your policy says. Another factor that is critical for us to understand with regards to home insurance is the premiums and the deductibles. The cost of home insurance and the out-of-pocket expenses before the insurance kicks in, which is the deductible, are very important considerations. Factors affecting these costs include the location of your home, the age, construction materials, homeowner's claims history, etc. So those are critical factors just to understand and have a basic understanding when you are looking at your home insurance and considering, if you're a first-time home buyer, considering what policy, what you need, what your needs are. Understanding that landscape is critical before taking those steps. And as a current homeowner, understanding what your current policy states, and when it comes up time to renewal, do you need to change anything, or is everything status quo? Those are key factors for you to consider with regards to homeowners insurance. So just to give you a few things that are typically included in homeowners insurance, things like the building and detached structures, personal contents, as I mentioned before, additional living expenses, and legal liability. Those are some of the things that are often included or covered under homeowners insurance. Some of the items that may not be included under homeowners insurance could be any business activity that's conducted in the home, any criminal activities, flooding, as I mentioned before, and things like mold, frozen pipes, and some other items that policies may not include. So it's really important to understand what is included and what is excluded in your insurance policy. Okay, I touched on this briefly, but I'll reiterate it again. So what are the things, what affects the home insurance premiums? As I mentioned before, the age of the property, the age of your particular home, the age of things like your roof, the plumbing, the electrical system. Those are all key factors that play a role in the cost of your insurance premium. These items help your insurance provider understand what the potential lifespan of these items in your home are and when they may need to be replaced or what may go wrong based on what they've seen over periods of time and their statistics that they keep. Another item that I mentioned earlier is the replacement value of your home. The more it costs to replace your insured belongings or rebuild your property, the higher your rate will be in order to compensate for the potential risk of loss. I spoke about the number of claims you've made on your particular property. So if insurers see you've made too many claims in your insurance history, this will affect the rates that you are offered. I mentioned before the location of the property, the neighborhood. So the number of claims in a particular neighborhood also have an impact on your premium. The closer you live to a higher density area, the higher your potential premium. So these are all factors that the insurance company is taking into consideration with regards to coming up with the premiums for your property. Use of property, depending on what you use your property for, whether it's your primary dwelling place, whether you're a renter and you're renting the place, whether it's a vacation home, or as I alluded to before, if you're operating a business, these items will be quoted differently based on how the property is being used. Another factor, this may be self-evident, but it depends on the actual policy that you choose, what you are choosing to have covered. If you're adding any special coverage or additional coverage, those will obviously provide you with a higher premium quote, the more specialized items that you add to it. So if you run a business from your property and you need to add business, that additional coverage to your insurance, the premium cost will go up accordingly. You kind of have a bit of understanding of the landscape. You've surveyed the landscape. You have a bit of understanding in terms of what the importance of home insurance, what it is, and the factors that go into the premium. And it really does help to build a safety net for your investment against any risk that you may have. So that's kind of your strong foundation. However, there are some common issues that you may face, and this is almost like building on sand. There is underinsurance. So one of the most frequent issues is finding out that your home is underinsured. And this can happen when the insurance coverage is not enough to cover the cost of rebuilding or repairing the home after damage. So it's really essential for us to regularly review our policy limits and to ensure that they're within the current rebuilding cost, considering any renovations or improvements that we have made to our property. So it's really critical on an annual basis to sit down. I know it takes a bit of time, but that 1 hour or 1.5 hours really can make a difference on the back end if some unexpected event happens. Claims denials. So this is another item that may come up. So we as homeowners may face that frustration with having our insurance claim denied. And it could occur for, several different reasons, such as the cause of the damage is not covered by the insurance policy. Again, really important to understand what you're covered for. So for example, flood damage in a standard homeowner's insurance, it's not there. Could be because of lack of maintenance or failure to report the damage in a prompt manner. So really understanding the specifics of what your policy covers and the claims process is really crucial for avoiding any surprises during this kind of stressful time when you really need the coverage of that insurance. Another item is high deductibles. This could be an issue that arises from not understanding the policy's deductible. So this is the amount the homeowner is responsible for paying before the insurance covers the rest. Some policies have high deductibles that can significantly affect the out-of-pocket costs for us homeowners. So it's important to choose a deductible that is affordable and that we really need to be aware of any conditions that may apply. Such as maybe separate deductibles for specific types of damage that could occur. So I'm always going to reiterate, to mitigate any of these issues and other home insurance issues, really take the time to thoroughly review your policy, understand your coverage limits, your exclusions, your deductibles, and consider the need for more coverage based on your specific circumstances. Also, regular communication with your insurance agent can also help clarify any issues, doubts, and ensure that the coverage remains adequate over time. So it's important to be proactive and well-informed because this can make a difference in ensuring that you have the protection you need and you're building on a solid rock, a solid foundation. So you can see how choosing the right home insurance is like building on rock versus sand, having that knowledge, that understanding, surveying everything, and being prepared. So let's jump into weathering the storms. So some stories, learning from others. A few years back, friends of mine had to deal with a major disaster. It started small and innocuously. The plumbing in their main washroom seemed to back up for no clear reason. They would get someone in to fix the situation, yet periodically a similar plumbing issue would pop up at inopportune times. Think about having a rambunctious toddler and two cute pugs who needed some extra attention. It was frustrating for them, to say the least. They were finally able to find, or more appropriately, uncover the root of the problem. Well, it was a root. Tree roots. The root system of the tree on their property was intertwined with the underground plumbing. Suffice to say, the event was not covered under their insurance policy, and it was a costly and time-consuming fix. Boy, did they wish they hired a home inspector and opted for more than the basic insurance plan. These were two things their parents recommended at the time of purchase, due to the age of the home and the fact that they were purchasing their first home. There was a lot of angst, and they often still talk about it every so often. This scenario is a modern day example of a builder who builds his home on sand and is susceptible to potential emotional and financial distress and distraction. It's a great example of inadequate insurance, unforeseen situations, and unexpected challenges that really draws on your energy and your finances. So let's move on to another situation of the diligent landlord. I had a landlord had a situation where their renter reported an issue with plumbing. The renter tried to fix it on their own, and then they reported it to the landlord. The landlord then had the issue remedied. However, after the lessee or the renter moved out, it was noticed that the situation required further investigation, and an insurance adjuster was brought in to investigate. The adjuster requested documentation from the professional who fixed the prior issue. They required a certified document. This was eventually supplied, and the insurance was able to cover the required repairs. The lesson here: insure items are addressed as soon as possible. Ensure if work is conducted that a professional completes the work, because you may need to provide certified proof. And this is a great example of being on top of the situation, and this landlord, this investor, throughout the entire situation, they were calm. They felt reassured because they had selected or to have comprehensive insurance. So they were covered. Now let's look at the story of a fire in a condo. This situation talks through renter insurance, building insurance, and owner insurance. A resident was smoking on the balcony and flicked their cigarette over the rail. The cigarette butt was still smoldering and blew into another unit and caught fire on something in that unit. The sprinkler system throughout the building was activated, and damage incurred within the building. And this was primarily water damage from the sprinkler system. The positive part of it, everyone was covered. Building insurance covered the situation with regards to the building. Owner insurance covered the damage that was in the particular unit, and the renter for this particular unit, their insurance covered the possessions for their particular situation. So these situations can be likened to the wise builder who builds his home on a solid rock. They had peace of mind from a financial and emotional perspective because they had a solid insurance plan. Now let's reach for the proverbial hammer and nails. Building the house. Practical steps to choosing the right property insurance. Key things. Consider your needs. Factors such as lifestyle, your family size, your income, what can you afford, your assets, your personal circumstances. All of these factors need to be considered when you're thinking about insurance. Work with or speak to an insurance advisor or agent and understand their role in helping you to build a suitable insurance policy that's a solid foundation to protect your investment. Be sure to understand the policy details, such as deductibles, coverage limits, and exclusions. Compare insurance providers and policies to ensure they fit your needs. And when I say compare, do an apples to apples comparison so you truly understand the benefits from each policy or each insurer. And as I mentioned before, regularly review and update your insurance coverage as life circumstances change. Take time to read through your policy each year. Ask questions, challenge items you do not understand. Every year I read through my insurance policy and I either shoot an email or call my insurance broker to ask questions on things that I've seen change. Because oftentimes they just send you the policy and nobody tells you what's changed. I really like to take a look, compare what's changed, see if it all makes sense, and then make adjustments as needed. I highly recommend that. Tips on obtaining the highest level of a home insurance in the GTA. As I mentioned, comparing quotes. Get the right amount. So your premium is based on many things, but one of those variables is getting the coverage on the policy. Make sure you're not overpaying for some coverage that you don't need so you can save some of your hard-earned money. Maintain your home. Be diligent in maintaining your home, especially if it's an older home. You need to take care of items such as the roof, the electrical, the plumbing, and this helps to ensure you get better rates. Quit smoking. If you're a non-smoker, there's a lower risk in the eyes of an insurer, as the potential risk of you burning down your house from cigarette break is non-existent. So recall the condo fire story I mentioned earlier. Another option could be to increase your deductible. The higher your deductible, typically the lower your premium, as you're self-insuring the risk up to a certain dollar amount. Understanding these aspects of house insurance can help you make informed decisions about your coverage, ensuring you're adequately protected against the unique challenges you may face in your particular region or location within the GTA. Let's look beyond insurance and building wisely. Let's step back and put the finishing touches and refine, what we built with regards to home insurance. So insurance is that rock foundation to protect our investments. So how can we build wisely beyond home insurance in the context of home ownership? As I mentioned, regular maintenance. Not only if it's an older home, newer homes, maintain your property. This definitely will help with your insurance coverage. making safety upgrades, being engaged in your community, understanding what's happening in your community, including security systems in your property, employing a systematic approach and practices to help contribute to a stronger, more resilient property foundation. All of these factors will help you. So to recap, it's crucial to build a firm foundation to protect your investment, and that's the key role of property insurance. It's a tool for building security like the wise builder. To this end, understanding that the foundation is important, what is and what does property insurance entail, the options, that's critical for you to understand what it is and what it does. In addition to building the house, choosing the right items for your particular situation is key. I encourage you again to conduct an insurance review, consult with professionals, and consider your coverage options carefully. Really understand your needs, be well informed, and adequately informed will help to provide a great peace of mind for you. Building wisely, look beyond insurance. It's not only insurance and home ownership, it could be applicable to your life in general. I strongly encourage you to consider how the wisdom of the parable of the wise builder applies not only to property insurance and home ownership, but to other areas of life where preparation and foresight will help you weather those unexpected, unwanted, and often taxing storms of life. As my grandmother once asked me, I now pose this question to you. Which builder are you going to be? Like what you hear, leave a comment and a rating. I'd like to thank my producer, Stories and Strategies, for their excellent work. I have one last request. Please share this episode with one friend or family member. Thank you, and see you next time.